Hi Manannan Church, it's a real pleasure to be your Eyes and Bill Director for 2007 and 2008. Throughout the next 12 months, we'll be sharing with you a few God principles that we really pray will bless you as an individual and us as a church in fulfilling God's great calling for our lives. So have a great day, and remember that Jesus himself said that all things are possible to him who believes. You know, when I used to live in England, my Chelsea friends that knew me used to call me the Stato Man because I was actually a football statistical nut. I guess I still am, I probably shouldn't admit to it. But one of the most amazing sporting statistics that I've come across is actually nothing to do with football. It comes from the NBL Basketball League in the US. The Boston Celtics have won 16 titles in all, which is a record in the USA. But more than that, during the late 50s and early 60s, they won 8 consecutive titles, 8 in a row. That's amazing, but it's actually not the full story. The most amazing thing for me was in that 8 years where they won 8 titles in a row, not one single Boston Celtics player actually top scored in the league. Now, for those of you who are not sportingly minded, you might ask, well, what's the point? The point is that you don't actually need superstars to achieve greatness. You just need a great team. And God has called us to be a great team. In the Bible, it's referred to as body ministry, or the body working together. In modern language, we just call it teamwork. In Philippians 2 verses 1 and 2, the scripture tells us this: if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any fellowship with the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and purpose. Now, having the same love, being of the same mind and purpose, just simply means that we're all working together with one heart, with the same commitment level towards the same purpose, and that is to bring the love and the light of Christ into people's lives. You know, only God's people have the answer to the world's problems. In a recent edition of Newsweek, they quoted a US State Department report about some of the state of the world that we live in. And it said, you know, that today there are 12.3 million people either in forced labor or in sexual servitude, that every year 800,000 people are bought and sold, trafficked across national borders, and that 90% of children rescued from brothels in Southeast Asia are infected with HIV virus. You know, only God's people have the answer to these problems. It's easy to think that there's nothing that we can do about it, but you know, if each of us does what God has called us to do, we can make a difference in people's lives. As the disciples discovered in the times of Jesus, it's not about whether they had the ability to feed 5,000 themselves. They didn't. It was about taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish that they had and giving them to Jesus. You know, I believe that if we're faithful to do what God has called us to do, God will multiply our work. So look, that's all from me. Have a great day. And like the Boston Celtics, let's be a great team for God.